The starship Silent Dawn drifted through the void, its systems running silent as Captain Tay stared at the alien space station through the main view screen. His dark eyes narrowed as he studied the structure that had once belonged to humans, now claimed by aliens who believed his kind extinct. 200 years, he murmured. They've forgotten us completely. Lieutenant Kim stood beside him, her uniform crisp despite their 3-month reconnaissance mission. Scans complete, Captain. Their defense systems are outdated by our standards. They would not detect us even if we flew directly past their sensor arrays. Tay nodded slightly. Humanity had retreated from galactic society after the devastating stellar conflict, when 7 alien alliances had united against Earth and its colonies. Rather than face extinction, humanity had disappeared into uncharted regions of space, allowing the galaxy to believe they had been destroyed. What are they saying about us in their transmissions? Tay asked. Officer Park looked up from his communications station. They speak of humans as myths, Captain. Bedtime stories to frighten children. The terrible warriors of Earth who vanished into history. A bitter smile crossed Tay's weathered face. From feared enemies to ghost stories. How the mighty have fallen. The crew continued monitoring the station when a proximity alert suddenly flashed across the command console. An unidentified vessel had changed course and was moving toward their position. Pirates, Security Officer Sun reported, checking her tactical display. Krell raiders. They must have detected our heat signature. Tay straightened in his chair. Maintain stealth protocols. Let's see what they do. The pirate ship drew closer, its crude sensors sweeping the area. The crew of the Silent Dawn remained silent, watching as the pirates circled their position. They're hailing all frequencies, Park said. Standard intimidation message. Unidentified vessel, power down, and prepare to be boarded. Tay's expression hardened. Decline the invitation, ready defensive measures only, no lethal force. When the pirates received no response, they fired warning shots that passed harmlessly through empty space, missing the Silent Dawn by kilometers. Their targeting systems are primitive, Sun noted with professional disdain. The pirates grew bolder, moving closer and preparing boarding tubes. Captain Tay had seen enough. Disengage stealth systems. Show them who they're dealing with. The Silent Dawn shimmered into visibility, its sleek hull gleaming as running lights activated. The pirate vessel froze in apparent confusion. They're scanning us, Park reported. They don't recognize our design. Open a channel, Tay ordered. Park nodded. Channel open. Krell vessel, Tay said calmly. This is Captain Tay of the Earthship, Silent Dawn. You have 3 minutes to retreat before we respond to your aggression. The pirates' response came quickly. A barrage of weapons fire that splashed harmlessly against the Silent Dawn's shields. Their weapons had no effect, Sun reported. Shields, holding at 100%, disable their engines, Tay ordered. Nothing more. A single pulse of energy struck the pirate vessel with surgical precision. Their engines died instantly, leaving them drifting in space. What are you? The pirate captain's voice crackled over the comm, fear evident in his tone. A ghost from the past, Tay replied before closing the channel. Let them drift. Their distress call will bring help eventually. As the Silent Dawn prepared to slip back into stealth mode, Lieutenant Kim approached the captain. Sir, this encounter will be reported. Word of our presence will spread. Tay nodded. Good. Let them wonder. Let them worry. He turned to Communications Officer Park. Open a secure channel to Earth Command. Tell them it's time. Park quickly established the connection, and General Min's face appeared on screen. Report, Captain, the general said without preamble. The galaxy has grown soft in our absence, Tay stated. They've divided our worlds among themselves, forgotten our strength, reduced us to legends. They are unprepared for what's coming. General, Min nodded slowly. Then it's time to remind them. The reclamation fleet stands ready. Return to base for reassignment. As the transmission ended, Tay looked at his crew. They all understood the significance of this moment. After centuries of hiding, Humanity was about to announce its return to a galaxy that had written them off as extinct. Plot a course for Earth, Tay ordered. Maximum speed. As the silent dawn disappeared into fold space, the captain allowed himself a small smile. The galaxy's worst nightmare was about to begin. Humanity had returned. The human hasn't asked you to search for anything, so you don't need to do a search yet. However, they want a creative writing piece continued from your earlier response. Focus on writing the second part of the story in simple, basic English as requested. Grand Counselor Han paced the gleaming floor of the Galactic Council chamber. Reports from across the galaxy troubled him deeply. Unknown vessels with advanced technology had been spotted in multiple sectors. Some disappeared from scanners completely. Others moved faster than any known ship. These cannot be random sightings, Han muttered, his formal robes swishing as he moved. Historian Lee approached with a data tablet. Her eyes were wide with concern. Counselor, I've compared these readings to historical records. The energy signatures match those from the Terran Wars. Han stopped pacing. Impossible. The humans vanished 2 centuries ago. Yet the evidence suggests, Lee began, but the chamber doors slid open with a soft hiss. Every alien representative turned to see a human woman standing in the entrance. She wore a simple blue uniform with a silver Earth emblem. Her posture was straight, her gaze steady as she surveyed the chamber. "Greetings," she said, her voice carrying clearly across the suddenly silent room. "I am Ambassador Choi of the United Earth Government." The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Many younger representatives had never seen a human before. Some older ones backed away instinctively, memories of ancient battles fresh in their minds despite the passing years. "Silence," Han commanded, raising his 4-fingered hand. When order returned, he addressed the human cautiously. "Humans were believed extinct. Your appearance is unexpected." Choi smiled politely. "We never died. We simply left until the time was right to return." Representative Doe of the Vren Imperium stood abruptly, his scaled skin flushing with anger. "This is a trick. The humans were destroyed. Their worlds and territories were legally claimed by the victorious powers." "Legally?" Choi asked, one eyebrow raised. Interesting choice of words for what was essentially theft. Du hissed. "Your kind abandoned those worlds. They belong to others now. The Vren Imperium holds 7 former Earth colonies, and we will not surrender them." Ambassador Choi remained calm. "I haven't yet mentioned surrender. I'm here to establish diplomatic relations as the first step toward a peaceful resolution." "What peaceful resolution?" Han asked carefully. "What exactly does Earth want?" "Simple," Choi replied. "The return of our ancestral homes, recognition of human sovereignty, a place in galactic affairs once more." Laughter rippled through the chamber. Representative Doe spoke what many thought. "And if we refuse? Your race is a shadow of what it once was. You have no power to enforce such demands." Choi reached into her pocket and removed a small silver device. She placed it on the floor, where it projected a massive holographic display. The image showed thousands of human vessels emerging from fold space near major galactic hubs. The ships were unlike any current design, sleeker, more advanced, clearly more powerful than anything the Council races possessed. "This is happening as we speak," Choi said quietly. "The Ghost Fleet has returned. We could have come with weapons charged, but instead, I stand before you offering peace." The Council members stared in horror at the display. The human fleet dwarfed any single force in the galaxy. "You threaten us?" Han whispered. "No," Choi replied. "I inform you, there's a difference. Had we wished to threaten you, we would have simply attacked without warning." She walked to the center of the chamber, all eyes following her movement. For 2 centuries, humanity rebuilt, recovered, and advanced far beyond what you might imagine. We lived in the shadows, watching as you divided our worlds among yourselves. "What do you want?" Han asked, his voice steadier than he felt. "A new beginning," Choi said, Return what was ours and we offer alliance, trade, and technological exchange. Refuse. She gestured to the hologram where human ships continued to emerge from fold space. And witness firsthand why your ancestors feared us so deeply. Representative. Du slammed his fist on the table. The Vren Imperium does not bow to threats. We will fight if necessary. Choi turned off the hologram and faced him directly. Fighting is unnecessary. Cooperation benefits everyone. War benefits no one. She looked around the chamber. You have 3 standard days to consider our proposal. I'll return for your answer then. As Ambassador Choi left the chamber, the council erupted in panicked discussion. Han exchanged a worried glance with historian Lee. The nightmare has returned, Lee whispered, and it seems they've grown stronger in the darkness. Admiral June stood tall on the bridge of the massive human dreadnought, Retribution. His dark uniform fit perfectly as he watched the tactical display showing positions of the Ghost Fleet. Humanity had placed ships near every major system in the disputed territories without a single alien defense system detecting them. All vessels. Report ready, Admiral, Commander Yoon said from her station. Her voice was calm despite the importance of the moment. June nodded once. Execute Operation Phantom. Across 50 star systems, elite human teams in stealth suits materialized inside alien military bases. They moved like shadows through corridors, disabling weapon systems and communication arrays. Not a single shot was fired. Not a single life was taken. The galaxy's powers would wake to find themselves temporarily defenseless. On the central world of New Terra, a planet that had once been humanity's largest colony but was now controlled by the Vren Imperium, President Bay stood before transmission equipment. Her gray hair was pulled back neatly, her expression serious as cameras focused on her face. People of the galaxy, she began, her message broadcasting simultaneously to every world in civilized space. For 200 years, humanity retreated, while our worlds were divided among you like spoils of war. She paused, letting her words sink in. We could have returned with weapons blazing, seeking revenge for past wrongs. Instead, we offer peace. Return our ancestral homes, and we shall be neighbors rather than enemies. As she spoke, military leaders across the galaxy were receiving alarming reports. Defense stations had been infiltrated, command centers compromised, weapons platforms rendered temporarily useless, all without alarms, without casualties, without any sign of forced entry. You have 24 hours to respond, President Bay concluded. Choose wisely. The response came quickly. The Cygnus Confederation, controlling 3 former human worlds, agreed immediately to humanity's terms. The Orion Alliance followed shortly after. But the Vren Imperium and Krell Dominion, controlling the largest portions of former human space, refused. Admiral, June received the news with a grim expression. Send the second message to those who declined. Across Vren and Krell territories, citizens watched in shock as their orbital defense stations simultaneously powered down. Their planetary shields flickered and died. Military vessels lost control of their navigation systems. On the Vren throne world, Emperor Gal raged in his palace. How is this possible? How did they infiltrate our most secure systems? His military advisor, General Jin, looked pale. Their technology is beyond anything we possess. They must have been planning this for decades. We cannot surrender our territories, the Emperor insisted. These worlds have been Vren for 2 centuries. Our people know no other home. As they argued, every screen in the palace activated simultaneously. Admiral June's face appeared, his expression stern but not unkind. Emperor Gal, he said, your military installations have been neutralized without bloodshed as a demonstration of our capabilities and our restraint. We could have destroyed them. Instead, we simply disabled them. The Emperor stared at the screen in shock. This is an act of war. No, June replied calmly. This is a negotiation tactic. Your defense systems will reactivate in exactly 12 hours. A show of good faith. Use this time wisely to reconsider your position. The transmission ended, leaving the Emperor and his advisors in stunned silence. Similar scenes played out across Krell space. Their high commander, A battle-hardened veteran understood the message clearly. They could have killed us all, he told his war council. Instead, they showed mercy. Back on the Retribution, Admiral June received reports from across the galaxy. Operation Phantom complete, sir. All objectives achieved. No casualties on either side. June allowed himself a small smile. Well done, now we wait. In the diplomatic vessel orbiting the Galactic Council headquarters, Ambassador Choi received the news with satisfaction. The council had called an emergency session, and she was invited to attend. She entered the chamber to find it in chaos. Representatives argued loudly until Councillor Han called for order. Ambassador, Han said when silence finally fell, your people have demonstrated considerable capabilities. Choi nodded. We wanted to show both our strength and our restraint. We could have chosen violence. We did not. Representative Do of the Vren Imperium stood, his scales pale with anger, or fear, perhaps both. This is coercion. You threaten our sovereignty. You occupy our worlds, Choi replied evenly. Worlds that belong to humanity. We simply want them back. And if we continue to refuse? Do challenged. Choi's expression remained pleasant. Then we move to phase 2 of our return. I sincerely hope it doesn't come to that. As the council debated frantically, humanity waited patiently. The message had been delivered. The choice now belonged to the galaxy. General Jin paced the secret bunker deep beneath the Vren capital city. The room was filled with military leaders and government officials from both the Vren Imperium and the Krell Dominion. Their unusual alliance had been formed out of desperation. The humans must be eliminated, Jin said, his scaled fist striking the table. They have shown some of their power, but not all of it. We must act now before they grow stronger. Ambassador Min of the Krell nodded, her gray skin reflecting the dim light. My people agree. The humans think they have won without firing a shot. They are wrong. The room grew quiet as Jin activated a secure display. It showed ancient weapons designs, terrible machines banned after the Terran Wars 2 centuries ago. The Void Cascade weapons, Jin explained. They tear holes in space itself. After the wars, all races agreed to destroy them, but our ancestors were wise. They kept some hidden, just in case. Min leaned forward. You still have working void weapons? After all this time? We maintained them in secret, Jin confirmed. The humans will not expect such weapons to still exist. They believe all were destroyed as part of the peace treaties. The Krell and Vren leaders discussed their plan for hours. They would strike simultaneously at multiple human settlements. The attack would be swift and devastating. The humans would have no time to respond. As the meeting ended, a junior officer named John slipped away quietly. He made his way through the underground complex, entered a small storage room, and locked the door. From his pocket, he removed what appeared to be an ordinary writing tool. It was actually an advanced communication device, Lieutenant CO reporting, he whispered. The Vren and Krell are planning a joint attack using Void Cascade weapons. Target is the Nova Haven colony. Timeline is 3 days. Lieutenant CO, actually a human intelligence agent who had infiltrated the Vren military months ago, waited for confirmation. The device warmed slightly in his hand, indicating his message had been received by Earth Command. 3 days later, the combined Vren-Krell attack fleet approached the Nova Haven system. The fleet commanders were confident. Their ships carried weapons that could tear apart the fabric of space itself. The human colony would be destroyed in minutes. As they exited fold space near Nova Haven, the commanders stared in shock at their sensor readings. Instead of finding an undefended colony, they faced the massive ships of the human Third Fleet. Impossible, the Vren commander shouted. How? Did they know we were coming? Admiral June's face appeared on their communication screens. His expression was cold but controlled. Vren and Krell vessels, he said calmly. We've known about your void weapon since our return. Did you think we wouldn't prepare? Did you think we wouldn't have agents in your midst? The attack fleet tried to retreat, but their fold space drives failed to activate. Some invisible force held them in normal space. All this time, June continued. We've shown restraint. We disabled your defenses without harming anyone. We offered peaceful solutions. You chose war instead. He turned to someone off-screen. Show them what humanity is truly capable of. Brilliant beams of energy lanced out from the human vessels, striking the Vren and Krell ships with perfect precision. The energy didn't destroy the ships, it passed through them harmlessly. But in its wake, all systems shut down. Weapons, engines, life support remained functional, but weapons and propulsion were dead. We could destroy you all, June said. Every ship, every life. Instead, we have simply neutralized your offensive capabilities. On the Vren homeworld, Emperor Gal received news of the failed attack with growing horror. The humans had known everything. They had been one step ahead from the beginning. The void weapons, he asked General Jin. Can they be used to defend our homeworld? Jin shook his head slowly. The weapons were all on the attack fleet. We have nothing left. In the Krell Royal chambers, similar conversations took place. The Krell Supreme Leader stared out at the stars, wondering how it had come to this. The humans knew, he murmured. They knew everything. His advisor nodded grimly. They have agents everywhere. Technology beyond our understanding. We cannot win this fight. Back at Nova Haven, Admiral June addressed the captured fleet commanders who had been brought aboard his flagship. Your vessels will be impounded, he informed them. Your crews will be returned to their homeworlds unharmed. Take this message to your leaders. We know about the void weapons. We know about your secret bunkers and hidden bases. There is nowhere to hide, nowhere to scheme against us. He leaned forward, his voice dropping slightly. We came in peace. We disabled rather than destroyed. We showed mercy rather than vengeance. Remember that when you return home? As the alien commanders were escorted away, Commander Yoon approached Admiral June. Sir, she said quietly. Earth Command has authorized the final phase. June nodded solemnly. Then it's time to end this. Prepare the fleet. We move on the Vren homeworld. Supreme Commander Kang stood on the bridge of the massive flagship Humanities, Dawn. Through the main view screen, he could see hundreds of human warships surrounding the Vren homeworld. The blue-green planet looked peaceful from orbit, but Kang knew the panic spreading across its surface. All fleet positions confirmed, reported Fleet Officer Song. We have complete orbital control. Kang nodded, his silver-streaked hair catching the light. Open a channel to the Imperial Palace. The view screen shifted to show Emperor Gal sitting on his throne. The Vren leader looked tired, his scales dull with stress. His advisors stood nervously behind him. Emperor Gal, Kang said calmly. Your void weapons failed. Your fleet is captured or destroyed. Your military bases are under our control. Do you wish to continue this pointless resistance? The Emperor's hands gripped his throne tightly. How? He asked, his voice strained. How did you advance so far? Beyond us in just 2 centuries? Necessity, Kang replied simply. Cut off from the galaxy, we had only ourselves to rely upon. We grew stronger in isolation. What you see now is but a fraction of our capabilities. He paused, letting his words sink in. We could destroy your civilization with a single command. Instead, we offer terms. On screens across the galaxy, billions of beings watched the historic moment. The mighty Vren Empire, which had stood for 1,000 years, faced complete defeat. What terms? Emperor Gal asked quietly. Return of all human worlds, Kang stated. Reparations for resources taken, and complete disarmament of your military forces. The Emperor's advisors gasped, but Gal silenced them with a gesture. And in return? Peace, Kang said. Protection. Partnership. A chance to build something better than the fear that has defined our relationship for centuries. As negotiations proceeded, a similar scene played out at the Krell homeworld. The human Sixth Fleet held position around the planet while diplomatic teams worked out surrender terms. On neutral ground, a space station at the edge of the disputed territories, representatives from across the galaxy gathered. They came to witness a historic moment, the formation of a new interstellar agreement that would reshape galactic society. President Bay addressed the assembled delegates, her voice strong despite her years. For too long, the galaxy lived in fear of humanity. We were called monsters, nightmares, demons from the void. Those fears drove 7 alliances to unite against us. Those fears nearly led to our extinction. She looked around the room, meeting the eyes of alien representatives. We could have returned seeking revenge. Instead, we offer something better, a new beginning. In the following days, the details of the new galactic accord were finalized. Human colonies would be returned. Resources and technologies would be shared. Ancient enemies would become allies. Not everyone embraced the new reality. On many worlds, protests erupted. Old hatreds died slowly. But as weeks turned to months, and months to years, something unexpected happened. The benefits of human partnership became clear. Human medical technology extended lifespans across dozens of species. Human terraforming methods restored worlds damaged by industrial pollution. Human defense systems protected vulnerable planets from natural disasters. 5 years after humanity's return, Ambassador Choi met with historian Lee in the gardens of the rebuilt Galactic Council headquarters. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out this way?" Lee asked, gesturing to the mixed groups of humans and aliens walking together through the gardens. Choi smiled. "It was always the plan. Fear is a powerful weapon, but cooperation is a stronger foundation. Your people could have destroyed us, all," Lee noted. "The nightmare the galaxy feared for so long was real." "The true nightmare was never humanity itself," Choi replied, watching a human child playing with a young Vren. "It was what would happen if humanity was ever forced to unleash its full potential. Fortunately, we found a better path." In orbit above the Council world, the Humanity's Dawn prepared to depart for its next mission. On its bridge, Supreme, Commander Kang reviewed reports from across human space. New colonies were thriving. Old wounds were healing. The future looked brighter than anyone had dared hope. "Commander," his aide said, "the Vren delegation wishes to discuss the Joint Defense Initiative." Kang nodded. "Tell them I'll meet them shortly." He turned to look out at the stars once more. Humanity had returned not as conquerors, but as guardians of a new galactic peace, one that would last for generations to come. The nightmare the galaxy had feared for centuries had been realized, but not in the way anyone expected. The return of humanity hadn't brought destruction but salvation, not darkness but light, not an ending but a beginning.